You are listening to Gpods by Gaurav Aswani.
And your video starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hi friends, this is Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai here. A warm good evening and once again welcome back. And this series is called 14 days, 14 books of Chanakya. Yes, 14 days, 14 books. And today being 11th, we are going to be carrying the 11th book of Chanakya. Yes, my dear friends, today is going to be the 11th book of Chanakya that I have written. I have written 15 books, so there are many more to go. But before we start today's session, which is a very different book from others, and we are going to start with a prayer. So all of you can join me in the prayer, and as all of you know, it's a very unique prayer that we always do, invoking the teachers, which Chanakya did. So please pray to your teachers, your gurus, your elders, and we will get into the session with a prayerful mode. Om Namah Shukra Brahaspatibhyam. Om Namah Shukra Brahaspatibhyam. So, salutations to Shukracharya and Brahaspati. These are the two great teachers Chanakya invokes, and he also invokes the other teachers before he starts his own version of writing the Arthashastra. So, friends, we are also going to be using that technique to actually write our own book today. Yes, my dear friends, today's book is about how to write a book and make it a bestseller. But before I go into today's book, let me show you yesterday's book. Remember this? We spoke about the children's book Chatur Chanakya and the Himalayan problem. And the next book is already ready. So we are in the editing phase, the part 2 of Chatur Chanakya. And that is called Chatur Chanakya in the, it is the bully is going to return in some form or other. I'm going to tell you that surprise, but as soon as it comes. Till then, you should read this book, Chatur Chanakya and the Himalayan problem. The next part 2 is ready, coming soon. Today we are going to cover a very interesting book. Look at this. How to write a book and make it a bestseller. Yes, how to write a book and make it a bestseller. You must have already seen that I don't have a book this time. You know why? It so happened that I actually forgot the book in my office. Usually I keep it in my car or there is a copy in my house. But it is not forgotten in one way, but there are many copies in the house, in the office. But we don't have a copy in my house in complete lockdown. But it doesn't matter because I have created the book, so I know what is the content of the book. So I'm just going to show you the cover page. This book is available on Amazon. What is very interesting about this particular book is also it is published by a different publisher. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But before I start this particular book and what is the content of the book, I'm going to quickly show you tomorrow's book. Yes, my dear friends, tomorrow is going to be another interesting book. Yes, Chanakya and the Art of War. Yes, Chanakya and the Art of War, because this is something which Chanakya is known for. Yuddha Niti, Samadhana Danda Veda, Dushman Ka Dushman Do. This time in a very different format. And this has been used in the armed forces, is used in various, Army, Navy, Air Force. A lot of my friends actually refer to this. So today we are going to talk about one book. Yesterday we spoke about another book. Every day, different books. And this is going to be tomorrow's book. So remember, it's 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock every evening. Tomorrow we'll talk about it, but today we are going to come back to one of the very interesting books. How to write a book and make it a bestseller. Before I start, let me tell you, my dear friends, this is one book which will answer maximum of your questions if you want to become an author. This book is going to actually give you maximum answers for anything that you want to actually know about writing books, the world of publication. But let me also start, the publisher is very unique and it's actually Crosswords. You remember the Crossword? They are bookstores. They're also available online. You can buy, purchase online. But they have a division, a publishing division called as the Right Place. So Right Place has actually published my book and it is available across all stores of Crossword in India. You can see them in most of the airports and some of the shopping malls across India. So make sure that you also have the dream to write a book. So I'd like to first thank all my friends at Right Place for making this book happen. It continues to guide a lot of people who come to me and say, I also want to become an author like you. You're very famous, so how can I also become famous? I said, don't worry. It's a simple book that I have written. It gives you a lot of tips of how all of my books have become bestsellers. So friends, I always told this that all my books are different, and this is about all the books. Okay. So let me also tell you before I get into the content of the book, what exactly I guide people in. Now, initially, what used to happen is that people used to come to me, they used to read my books. And they should like, I also have an idea. I also have a dream to write a book. So can you help me find a publisher? Can you help me how to write a book, how to complete a book? I have already started writing a book, but I don't know how to complete it. And some people say, I already completed a book, but I can't find a publisher. Some people say, I found a publisher, but it is not selling well. I said, okay, don't worry. Let's list down all the questions, hundreds of questions that used to keep coming in. And I started answering one by one, one by one. So one of my friends, Kinjal, he just called me. At that time, he was a CEO of, Crossroads. He said, let us write a book together. When I said together, I write and Crossroad team publishes. So I said, okay. Then I never thought about it as a reality, but then it's okay. It's an interesting topic because Crossroad, all people go to buy books and they say, can I also write a book? So the question was common to him and the Crossroad team, and the question was common to me. So we came out for this particular book. And all my team members are there now who are actually doing a lot of work around this particular book. And I have friends like Anu, Parshal, Kamran, a lot of them have helped me a lot to make this book very popular and very interesting. We not only talk about this book, but we also conduct workshops on how to write a book. Yes, we also conduct workshops from time to time of how to write a book. So next time, if you want to attend this workshop, we're just waiting for the lockdown to get over. Every 2 months we do this. I have friends who have come down from different parts of India. But I had a friend who also came down from abroad to attend this one-day workshop. From morning to evening, we train people how to write a book and make it a bestseller. So my dear friends, the first thing, if you already have a dream, complete your dream. We'll help you fulfill it. The second important thing is that if you don't have a dream, start dreaming. This is what I always do with my friends. Say that, when are you going to write your book? When are you going to tell your story? Initially people are very, very afraid of writing books and they don't know what to tell, what to do. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, because writing a book is very easy. No, it's not easy for me. And then I say, every expert started as a beginner. Remember, every expert started as a beginner. Even the world's #1 best-selling author also wrote the first book. Okay? Even the world's #1 best-selling author also started with the first book. I've been also fortunate that, the publishing world calls me India's #1 business writer. And I also go back and think, yes, I may be 15 books ahead or almost reaching 20 books ahead. But the thing is that I also had my first book. I had also my challenges. I'm sure each one of you will also be thinking about the challenges, but don't worry. You have a chanakya technique over here. And you know what is that technique? The technique is always take guidance from experts. Okay, always take guidance from people who are better than you, ahead of you, and who have done it before you. So that's your Radhakrishnan Pillai and the whole team. We actually work towards helping you becoming a published author. And therefore, please do get a copy of this particular book. That is How to Write a Book and Make It a Bestseller. That's a cover page, beautiful cover page. It's actually a library. You can see certain books, These are the small dashes. They're actually the bookshelf. And that means your book stands out among all these kind of books. So when you go to a particular airport, or when you go to a railway station, I got a lot of my friends who tell me, "Oh, Radha, I saw your book there." I said, "Oh, thank you so much. That gives a great feeling." And let me tell you, if you go to any of the bookstores, most of the time you will find at least 1 or 2 of my books there. That's a great feeling. So today, what is happening? One of the challenges is that even though people write books, publish books, but it's not distributed well. So there are a lot of questions about how to write a book, how to get it there. And of course, what about numbers and finance? That's the most important. Do authors actually become rich? Oh, there are a lot of interesting questions around it. And this book answers everything. This book answers everything. So I'm going to start by telling you what is the content of the book. So ready for it? Okay, my dear friends. So this particular book, like every other book, is different. And this is based on all the books of Chanakya. This time we don't have a Chanakya content, but actually content of how all the other books became successful. So let me actually start by actually thanking each one of you who have been consistently attending these particular sessions for so many days. So that means you have the basic material in you. So आप में वो बात है जिससे आप किताब लिख सकते हो. So don't worry. If you don't have a dream, start dreaming now. We'll help you fulfill that particular dream. So let me tell you what this book's content is all about. So this book is divided into two parts. This book is divided into two parts. The first part is how to write a book. And the second part is called how to make it a bestseller. The first is how to write a book, and the second is how to make it a bestseller. So you see, the title itself is becoming two parts. So you got a part A and you have a part B. Okay, so part A has got 5 chapters and part B has got 5 chapters. So when you get it, a lot of your basic questions are understood by me and also addressed over here. So let me go through this particular some of the chapters. It's almost like giving tips and suggestions about how to write a book and of course make it a bestseller. So let me start with part A today, how to write a book. Okay, the first step I always tell is that read a lot. Now, the very important part of writing a book is that please read a lot. If you are not a reader, you cannot become a writer. If you're not a reader, you cannot become a writer. The first qualification, the first thing for a reader, for a writer, is to be a great reader. Now, when I say reader, I'm not telling you to be only readers. The whole idea is that when you read a lot, you at least know the styles of other people. So it is said that at least read 100 books before you start writing your own book. Yeah, that's what I did with Chanakya. I've read so many different versions of his book, listened to Chanakya experts, watched television serials, did my research in so many libraries. And finally, after all that hard work and my academic qualification, PhD around it, we got content. And dear friends, you cannot write without having content. See, there is a difference between an idea and a content. If you got a book writing idea, good. But that idea cannot be translated into a book. The idea has to be translated into content. So to first create the content through research. So I would say please do lots and lots of reading. Now, many people ask me what kind of a books can be written. Okay. So what kind of books currently exist? Let me tell you, friends, there is book written in every subject of the world. Okay, there is a book written in every subject of the world. See, there may be categories. Okay, like we have fiction categories, and we have categories of scientific books. We have categories of academic books like textbooks. We have categories like non-fiction books. So most of our books are in the non-fiction category, which means the management books. Of course, the fiction is a very very popular category. It's all about stories. So you must have seen, Chanakya New was a fiction book. Katha Chanakya is a lot about stories. So that's one category. And then there are books based on poems. Yeah, poems. That's very very common, and a lot of people have become famous. Like if you look at Amitabh Bachchan's father, he was a writer. He also wrote many books, and he was a poet, Harivansh Rai Bachchan. So there are poetry books also. So what is the kind of a books that exist in the world? There are any subject of the world. People have written on subjects like I've read once a book very interesting, different type of stones. Okay, and then there are books on astrology. There are books on future crimes, and the books on policing. There's books on administration. So think about the subject. Somebody or the other has written a book on it. Now, the first question that we start is that what kind of a book should I write? So if you want to write something, what are you going to write about? That's the question that I can't answer. That's the question you have to answer. If you have an experience in any particular subject, you should write a book on that. If you already have an idea in a particular subject, you should write that. For example, if you already work in the transportation industry, okay, you worked in the transportation industry for 45 years, then why don't you write a book on your experience based on that? You can write a book on philosophy if you have been teaching and thinking philosophy. You can write a book on yoga if you're a yoga practitioner. Just to also tell you, I've helped so many people launch the books, and I've been fortunate that some of my mentors also have started becoming authors. So they were very, very bright, brilliant experience, but they never believed in writing a book. But I pushed them and saying that, "Aap kijiye na." And one of the examples is one of my mentors. His name is Ashok Bhai Shah. He's the chairman of a very big company called as VTrans. Finally, he wrote a book. He actually launched a very big launch with almost 1,000 people attending. So what is important is that books are very, very important in any category you write. Now, my first question is, apart from which topic should I write? I said any topic you like, and if you think that there is a topic in which a book is not available. Okay, if there is a topic in which the book is not available, you should definitely write it, because that's a bright idea. It's a new idea, right? So please write. So when I wrote Corporate Chanakya, I said it's a very different topic. So it never existed before that. And then I said, our application in the business world. So that became a success. So if you have a topic in mind, write on that particular topic. Now the next question is that, okay, I've got an idea, I got a clarity. The primary thing is that, how do I start writing? How do I start writing? So when we do these workshops, the first thing I tell all my participants, and most of them, almost 95 to 99% are first-time authors. If you're a first-time author, I tell them, don't worry, all of you know how to write. All of you know how to write. Now the only thing is that how to write a book. So there are two different questions. So one is whether you know to write. Of course, all of us know to write and read because we have learned it in school. That's what we've been doing for 15, 20 years of our life. Write, read and write exams, read textbooks. So nobody has to teach you how to read now, to write now. So writing is something that you know. Of course, I'm going to teach you how to write a book. That's a different thing. Okay. So we always say that, if you want to write a book, it is a very big task. But every big task starts with small steps. So why don't you start writing what you have in your mind on a daily basis? Thoda, thoda, little by little, the whole journey is covered. The first thing I can tell you with my own life, I was not an author of a book day one. Since my childhood, I can tell you very clearly, I had this habit of writing down certain things. That habit continues. Okay. And when I was in fourth standard, I was a very small boy. And during those days in our house, there used to be a newspaper that used to come called as Indian Express. Yeah, all of you know that paper is very celebrated paper. So in Indian Express, there used to be a children's column. Okay, there used to be a children's column, and I felt I should write. So my parents were very encouraging, and then wrote a small joke. Think about it. I wrote a small joke and sent it to Indian Express. And can you believe it? After a couple of weeks, that joke arrived in Indian Express. And that day was the biggest day of my life. I almost became like an overnight celebrity. So that day when I went to school, so the paper came in the morning and school was in the afternoon. So when I went to school, everybody was talking about it. The principal called me. So all the people, hey, Radhakrishnan, we saw your joke. Oh, then my, this is something which is like making me very famous. So that's the advantage of writing a book, that you can actually become famous overnight also. So I was like quite surprised and saying, wow, it can make me really famous. Book was not the first fame for me, because I enjoyed writing a small column and a small section in a newspaper. But I'll tell you something interesting. After about a month or so, there came a letter in my house. That is, today we have the Indian Postal Department, post office. The postman came and they dropped a letter. I said, what is this? It was written Indian Express. I opened it. And believe me, you know what I saw? There was a 100 rupee check. Yes, there was a 100 rupee check. I was like, wow, I got paid also. I did not know that. The publishers actually sent money through a check. And my mother and my father, this is not physical money, cash, you have to go and deposit it. So actually, my mother took me to her bank, which is State Bank of Travancore, and opened an account. It was a minor account. Okay, so we all, when you're young, less than 18 years of age, you require a guardian. So mother opened the account for me and deposited it. My dear friends, it is not just becoming big, but you become small and also actually start your big journey. So I always reflect and tell, my journey has been quite satisfying for me, because right from the first article that got published, actually started getting money, started getting revenue. And I'm going to talk about how money are involved in book industry a little bit later. My dear friends, it all started by writing a small joke which got published. Later on, I used to start writing articles. Yeah. Newspapers, college magazines. I used to be very active in Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, the youth wing of I used to have newsletter. I used to start contributing to that. And one of the biggest things that happened in my life is that I still continue to write in a lot of magazines, even now. Many of you may be knowing my book, so I still continue. For example, how many of you are aware that I continue to write as a monthly columnist in a magazine for children called Bal Vihar, which is published by the Chinmaya Mission, a spiritual organization. month, I read a small article. Swami Aradhananda and Swami all the people. No? So I love to write these small little articles. I write for journals or scientific management journals. So that's a different genre. And of course, the books part of it. So my friends, why I want to tell you all these things that if you want to write a book, start writing something or other. I've written poems also from time to time. I've written short stories also. So I have one suggestion: if you want to write a book, every day in the night before you go to sleep, take out half an hour and write down what your experiences of your life were. When we were young, diary writing was a very interesting practice. Nowadays, that diary writing is almost like not there because of technology, so we can document everything. But I still suggest that each one of you sit down every night and start jotting down. That's a good habit, so that all the ideas in your mind is documented, and you will be surprised that if you start slowly writing, those writing can be used by generations to come. I want to repeat it. Those writings can be used for generations to come, and you never know. Can be made into movies also. Yeah, there's a very interesting movie of a great revolutionary. His name was Che Guevara. Che Guevara, and he, when I was a young boy, after completing his medical studies, he was a doctor by qualification. He started going around Latin America on a bike, on a motorcycle, and he started writing every day. And later on, after he died, he was a very famous revolutionary from Cuba. He was a person, a leader of the masses. So after he died, his daughter discovered those diaries and she converted that into a book. And also a movie has been made on that. It is called Motorcycle Diaries. So read the book. It's an amazing thing. You never know when you write, you publish a book, what's going to happen. It can be made into a film also. Look at my case. I told you about the films. Okay, so friends, book journey can be financially good. It can be made into a lot of things. So Avengers, oh, that's also big. They're all books. So what kind of books are there? Everything. But start writing small, small, small. Start publishing. And today with the technology era, we can also do blogging. Yes, start writing blogs, maybe book reviews, film reviews, whatever you think. Start small, 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 small thing. But maintain a record of it. Yeah. So you don't just write and forget it, because when you want, you should retrieve it also. Okay, friends? So you have to start writing small, but think big. Okay. Now coming about how to write a book. A book is different from writing an article or a small little things that we do. It's not about writing a joke, it's not writing a poem, but the average, okay, the average book is known by the number of words. In the number of words. If you look at all my books, look at this, okay, so it is thick. You can see that. So you have to have some size, right? If you are not having a book with certain size, then it is not a book, then it's a booklet. Because I don't want you to just get into the trap of saying, I have written some 5-10 pages and now it's called a book. It is not a book. So in the publishing world, generally a book will have about 50,000 words. Okay, so remember the formula. A published book generally has got 50,000 words. It can be more or less. Okay, so it's not exactly going to be 50,000, but that's the benchmark and the thumb rule. There are books which are 25,000 also. There are books of 40,000 also. There are books 70, 80,000 also. For example, my first book, Corporate Chanakya, is nearly 70,000. Chanakya Niti is almost 90,000 words. It's actually a very fat book. And Chatur Chanakya is like 25,000 words. Because I must have seen last, they're comparatively smaller, but you make the book bigger with illustrations, with font size, with lot of other little techniques that you weave around the book. But as far as the word count is concerned, remember the golden formula that you have to write at least 50,000 words. So if you got a novel, short stories, then what you're doing that, build up. Maybe you can write maybe 10 stories, maybe 1,000 words or 5,000 words each, and then build it up. It all depends. Once I'm giving a golden formula that book should not be a booklet. Book is not an article. It's average around 50,000 words. So think about it. Make a timetable, and then you will be able to write. So one of the questions that people ask me is that what is the right time to write? Let me tell you, it all depends on you, your personality, the kind of a lifestyle that you have. Like for example, some people like to get up early in the morning and write. Some people like to write when it is late in the evening, or maybe when everybody has gone to sleep. Some people like to write, probably go into a corner in a room and write. Some people take a holiday, go to some hill station and write. So it all depends on your personality, and it all depends upon, I know of a friend who actually used to travel from his house to his office, and he had a driver also. What he used to do is that, it used to be almost like 1.5 hours one way he had to commute. So he used to just open his laptop and start writing. So imagine 3 hours of his life per day, he actually committed it to write a book. And he completed that. And it all depends on you, seeing that what is your comfortable. So there is only one thumb rule: what is practical for you, what is relevant for you, and what you're comfortable with. That is the time you should select. Now, I can tell you my example. I am a person who cannot dedicate a whole day writing a book. Even though if I'm working on deadlines, I actually can shut myself and complete the whole thing. I remember I've been very fortunate that my PhD thesis, okay, when I did my PhD, because I already had published books, I had the experience. I actually wrote the whole PhD thesis in 31 days. Yeah, that's quite a speed for writing a PhD thesis. And don't think it is just about the number. The qualitatively also it was good. I've been fortunate even for my research on my Arthashastra Saptang, I also got a research competition gold medal around it. So it is award-winning research and published into a book. But I don't want to say that my speed will be your speed. That's not the point. But the whole idea is that everybody should write as per his speed, as per his timing. But once I get into a mission mode, I can even write 7 to 8 hours a day, or an average at least 1 or 2 hours a day. So I have written books depending on my practical situation. There is no thumb rule. So I have written. So once I plan writing a book, I say to this are the 10 chapters that I'm going to write. I put in my deadlines, and every day I have to write at least 1,000 words, so that in 50 days it will be ready, or 2,000 words. In fact, the last book that I wrote was 3,500 words to 5,000 words a day. The fastest that I've written a book is in 7 days. Yeah, I've written a book in 7 days. So the whole idea is that you decide what is flexible for you. So when I'm on a deadline, my team knows, Pranav knows, Meena knows, Kartika from my office knows, Nitya knows this. All these are part of my team. They all know that, once I get into a mission mode, the first support I take is from my wife, Sureka, saying, listen, I'm on a mission mode now. I want to write this. I want to complete this. My research is there in place. I take up all the documents, notes, and start. I don't write. I type a book. Okay? Thanks to my mother, who actually put me into a typing class. Unfortunately, people ASDF, we try to pick. No, so I know exactly. So that's something I've been very fortunate that I've been learned this, and it's quite interesting. My mother, Sushila ji, and my father, both of them have supported me in my writing. My father is also a writer. Very interesting. That's something I like to thank him, because genetically, you get the blessings of your parents also. So be it my mother, be it my wife, be it my children, my parents, all of them indirectly, directly become your support system. In fact, it's better to actually take their, I would say, guidance, blessings, and good wishes, because they are going to push you to make sure the book happens. Okay, friends, so it's very important that you decide what's the time to write, how to write it, what is practical for you, which is the right place. I have just opened my laptop in an airport and started writing when I'm waiting for my flight to come. I've written in a hotel room, I've written in my house, I've also written in railway stations when I was waiting for some train to come. So, my dear friends, for me, writing on a laptop, making notes is very easy. You look at it, what's important for you. But ideally, I would suggest that if you can start writing in the physical format, rather I would say digital format, it's better. Because physical format anyway will get converted into Word files. It's better if you can type. It's a good habit. If not, also it's fine. You can write it manually with a piece of paper or a book, and later on get it typed by somebody else, or you can type it later on. Why am I telling you that it's better to type a book out? The reason being that it's very easy for people to actually send it to the publisher, because the soft copy can be sent, and easy for them also to edit it. So the work doesn't become double. So if possible, start typing, learn typing if you can. That's going to be a very helpful skill that will remain with you lifelong. Because many of us, especially in this generation, I see, they have not been technically trained in typing. It has actually happened because of practice. So if you look at the mobile, we just use two fingers and then we start, keying in. But if you look at a laptop, there is actually a technical style to writing: A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K. So, if you can get your fingers and your brain gets tuned into that, I can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And people, you should sometimes see me typing. The way I type is like, I can look at it, and my fingers will go on. Yeah, tell me. So you have to understand this, that if you can start with digital way of documenting, it's one of the best things that you can do. Now coming back to the technical side of it, I would suggest that complete the book that you have started. There are three type of people. One is who have a dream of writing a book but never write. Okay, so they never think that it's possible. It's called the starting point bottleneck. Okay, so they never start. The second one, they start, but they never complete. So I have also people who come for my writing workshops and they tell me, oh, sir, I have completed 2 chapters, but after that, my energy levels went down. I don't know how to proceed. Okay. The third is they say I've written it, but I don't know what to do after that. So, my dear friends, we will talk about what to do after that. But if you are not started, please start. The best advice I will give you for writing a book is start writing. The best advice for writing a book is start writing. Whatever be your condition, don't wait for making it perfect day one. That is the biggest mistake. When people write their first book, they start imagining, my book also will become famous. I also become famous. It will make into a movie. I'll wait. Don't start thinking so. It will happen as a natural process, as an organic process. But day one, if you start dreaming but don't write, what is the point? The best way to start writing is start writing. I'll repeat it. The best way to start writing is start writing, and over everything it evolves. So, one of the important challenges is that to complete writing the manuscript. What is the meaning of a manuscript? The manuscript, your whole book that is written at your level. But remember one thing, manuscript is not the book. Manuscript is not the book. So if you have written a book, typed it, and as I gave you, chapterization, the theme, the story, everything, the 50,000 word, your book is ready. Then you have to find a publisher. So till now, I have told you how to write a book, gather information, make a plan, write a timetable. Everything is there in this book. Okay, how to write a book and make it a book. So everything is there in this. We have even given you tips on how to make a daily timetable of writing, statistics, how many words to complete. All this you can refer. But let us assume that part on your book is written. Right? That's only journey half done. It's now interval time. The second part is how to make it a bestseller. The first thing is to actually find a good publisher. There are various kind of publishers, and for the first time, many people get confused. Everybody wants to get published, no doubt, but how does the publishing industry work? So let me start with a few insights on the publishing industry. Okay, the publishing industry has got all type of publishers. One is called the traditional publishers. One is called the new age publishers, and the third is type of publishers which happens for authors is called self-published. Okay, so 3 categories. Remember, traditional publishers. Then we have the category of new age publishers, and the third category is you can publish the book yourself. So, how to differentiate a good publisher from a bad publisher? The first thing is that if a publisher is been existing for more than 25 to 30 years, okay, look at it, the publisher is existing in the publishing world for more than 25 to 30 years, they are very established. Anything less than that, that means they are also experimenting. And sometimes you will be part of that experiment. I've been very fortunate right from my first book. As I told you, I'll tell you the name of my 5 publishers. The first publisher has been Jayco, and I've written so many books with them. They've been in the particular industry for more than 3 generations, more than 70 years. Rupa also falls into that category. Penguin Random Book House, it has been there for more than 100 years. So it's world's #1 publisher. Think about the experience that I bring on table. Then definitely we have this book, that is Crosswords. They've been in the publishing industry, the book industry, I would say specifically, bookstores and all those things, for over 25, 27 years now. So they're also not bachas. Okay, and of course, Puffin Books, where the children's book is that they're also world's #1. So if you look at the advantage that I've got is that these are called traditional publishers. They understand what the book industry is all about, and they have also gone through all the challenges. It's not easy to be in the publishing industry, especially in India, and I always thank my publishers because they are able to help us get a book published and reach the masses at a very affordable price. If you look at all my books, they're almost like not more than 300 rupees. Maximum is 299. That's a very manageable price for an average Indian, or even for a very ordinary person from a humble background also can afford 300 rupees. So it's not a very highly priced. And my children book, Chanakya, is at 200 rupees. So you think about it. publishers do a fantastic job in India. This particular country is fortunate that we've got great publishers who don't try to price it very high, and they are able to understand marketing, and they understand price sensitivity of Indians. So publishers traditionally get these particular models for you. And the second is basically the new age publishers. The new age publishers, as I told you, is that the kind of a publisher that zoomed or mushroomed in the last 5 to 10 years. Because there are authors, first-time authors. People are also experimenting with new age publication companies, and nothing wrong in that. But anything you say at the end of it requires some experience in that particular field. So new age publishers have the challenge of actually having experimenting for themselves, and they're also required, because you cannot only have the Tatas and the Birlas. They're also required, but we also require startups as new age businesses. So new age publishers. One of the good things I have found with new age publishers are very, very, very comfortable with the digital or the technology era. So even if the book doesn't reach the bookshop, they are available on Amazon, they're available on Kindle, they're available in different places. So new age publishers come with the technology background much than the traditional publishers. Traditional publishers also and technological background, the books are there. But you know what? When I say I've written with Jayco or Rupa or Penguin Random Book House or Puffin or Crossroads, then there are established publishers. One of the things that I would suggest is about publishing is you should be very careful about one key thing is distribution. Book getting published is a very important thing, but the book has to reach everywhere, right? So the distribution matters. Imagine Parle-G is available in every single shop that you go to, the Kirana shop or the supermarket. That's the strength of Parle-G. So it is not a good quality product. It's also a good quality product. That's the base minimum, but you have to reach it to every retailer. So if the book publisher also has got a fantastic distribution system, then you get it right. Otherwise, it won't become a bestseller. Okay, so my books have sold almost in 1 million, so almost 10 lakh copies. Which is available in Orissa, it's available in Thiruvananthapuram, it is available in Bombay, Delhi. I've seen some of my book launches being done in smaller towns like Hubli, Dharwad, Sirsi. Then I always thank my publishers and thank you so much. So traditional publishers, new age publishers, and then comes the very interesting part, which is called self-publishing. So if you don't find a publisher, also it's fine. You can publish it yourself. That's how many authors start also. Please understand there's a very important role the editorial team plays. So when you write a manuscript, it has to go through a refinement. And that is what the publisher brings in. They've got a very robust editorial team. A book which is not edited will have its own challenges. So what the publishers bring in is the editorial experience. Of course, they also know something more better than us, how to design a cover page. See this? Look at this. All this is very visible. Look at this, You don't think cover page is very important. So when you're writing a book, please understand it. People always get attracted by the cover page. Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai. That is the reality. And of course, you look back, you look at all these blurbs that you have. And finally, they also look at the pricing. Okay. So if you look at it, this book is, how much? $2.99. So all these little things matter. So it's $2.99 only. So all these little things matter. So once you publish it, make sure that you have a good design. I know of people, some of the very famous authors, who specifically spend a huge money only to make a good design and a cover page. So all these are small little tricks. Then comes, after your book is ready, it's ready, you have to go to the printer, and finally the book is there in your hand, and you feel great about it because it's a lot of hard work. What is the average of writing a book? It can be anything from 2 years to 4 years. 2 years to 4 years, yeah. So when people say I have an idea, so okay, wait. The idea is not about writing one small article. It's about publishing a book. So remember the average. I took 4.5 years for my first book, Corporate Chanakya. Yeah. Afterwards, of course, the speed is very good. You can bring out a book in 3 months also. But for first time beginners, I say you should have lots of patience, because it's not about the speed of the book. You have to do a lot of other activities around it also. So after the book is ready, when it comes in your hand, the first copy, it's a great feeling. I always tell this, when you look at the book in your hand, like if you look at it, this book, that we're going to cover tomorrow. So book, and I don't feel it's a book. I feel it's Radhakrishnan Pillai in a different form. It's like holding your own baby. You ask a mother, she'll tell you, ये मैं नहीं हूँ, ये मैं ही हूँ. So it is just me. It is not just a baby. It's me. Okay. So it's me in a different form. So we men especially are not lucky to give birth to children biologically, but we can give birth to a book. You feel, wow, that's me in a different form. So I think that's a great experience. So when you have a published copy in your hand, it's like a great feeling. It's like you have arrived, you're reborn. Imagine giving birth to 15 books, and every time you come and look at the book and say, wow, what a beautiful book. Look at the feeling that I get when I touch this book, and probably look at this book. It's like a mother looking at a child. It's I, me, myself in a different form. So friends, after that, don't stop, because the book still has to become a bestseller. Published book has to become a bestseller. It's a journey. And therefore, I would suggest that, you should plan out activities after the book is ready. And what are the activities? Launches. Very important that we do launches, both physical and digital. Today, people do a lot of digital stuff. They make animation, they make videos. Like in Chatur Chanakya, we have made an animation video. You must have seen it. You can just go back. 1 minute videos of people spend a lot of money, especially the very big established author, to actually shoot the whole thing. So all this happens, but it all depends on your budget. But digital marketing is the key today. But I believe in physical and digital marketing. I have done physical launches. I remember Chanakya in you, almost we targeted 100 physical launches in 1 year. That means every third day you are doing a launch. Okay, remember this? We actually did 118 launches in 1 calendar year. So the important thing is that if you're not active, you cannot just sit on a mail, and you cannot sit on Instagram and Facebook and just launch books. This is very important to understand. Instagram, Facebook, all social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, all will help you. But you have to go there, talk to people, have some launches. So I've gone to so many companies and did book launches. So never miss out on the physical launches, because it helps you to promote the book. You go to a bookstore, speak to the people, speak to the salesmen. They will all get encouraged, because they know you by face. When I go across India, especially I've visited every single publisher's office. I've spoken to the branch head. I've spoken to the people. Now this all matters in the long run to build a brand. So next time, when my publisher is announcing in their marketing, we got another book of Radhakrishnan Pillai. Everybody says, oh yeah, I hear come there last time. Like when I go to South, Sapna Bookstores is a chain of bookstores, and I know the owner and the salespeople and the sales manager in bookstores. And oh, Radhakrishnan Pillai's book, chalo, yeah, I'm ordering 5,000 copies. See, that's the brand you build. You have to respect everyone, go and meet people. So launches is very important, and it's important that you also become a good human being. Once you're an author, there is unfortunately something called as an author's ego. Most dangerous I've found, because authors have this, oh, I'm a great guy and I can influence the society. Of course, authors can influence the society in a big way, because your books can change lives. The books can change lives, but never, never, never let the ego come into you that I'm a great guy. Be simple, as humble you can. And one last point that I love to cover from this book is finances. You want to know about money, my dear honey? It's a lot of money. Yes. So like any other field, the same field, we have very successful people, average successful people, and not so successful people also. So for example, if you look at a lawyer, okay, somebody who could be actually making some basic things, maybe a domicile certificate or something like that. So in the local civil courts, he's also a lawyer, he also studied the same thing. And you have somebody in a high court and somebody in a Supreme Court. So, it depends upon what kind of a category. The category always depends on how many of your books have sold. So if you look at all the great writers, the famous writer, the Sherlock Holmes and all those, and they have actually, sold in millions and sometimes billions also. So you are a successful author financially, the number of copies get sold. Not necessarily all good books become bestsellers. And let me also tell you, not necessarily all bestsellers are actually good books. So I always tell, don't treat me as a best writer. I'm a best-selling writer. Look at the two words. So I'm an average writer. In fact, my father is a better writer than me. He's a great writer. I would say my writing is good, but I'm not very technical about writing. I've never got trained in writing, even though I train people how to write. So what is very important, your numbers of copies sold will actually make you money. So the average is, anything from 6, 7 or 10% of the MRP is what you get as royalty. Suppose 100 rupee books or 10 rupees come to you, and there's a yearly calculation. It takes time. But there are different ways of monetizing a book. So the copyright always remains with the author, and you can actually monetize it by making a film or giving rights over different platforms. You can actually make money by translating that into multiple languages, multiple editions. And books can get adapted into films. So Avengers is a big movie, but based on Marvel comics, if you remember. But I had once met a person who actually helps people. He was from Hollywood, and he helped Indian people to actually make books into movies. Books are adapted into movies. Okay, they cannot go word by word, but adaptation happens. And he used to tell that 7 out of 10 movies that become global box office hits, 7 out of 10 are based on books. Uh, the last calculation was Avengers Endgame actually made $2.8 billion. $2.8 billion, and they are based on books. So, what kind of a books that you should read according to me? Anything and everything, so you know about it. For me, I say start writing, think big, dream big, and you never know. You can actually become the richest man in the world. Amazon started. If you remember Amazon, it started as a book selling platform. Flipkart started as a book selling platform. So, book and interconnected industries are very big, and book is part of human society. Friends, welcome to the world of books, not just as a reader. Think about you being a writer. And we are going to be continuously doing workshops. Please drop in a message, fill up the Google form, the document that we are sending it to all of you. Please write to us. Once the lockdown is over, we'll be having a workshop. Please attend it so we can have face-to-face discussion, the whole day workshop, and we will take care of that. So, welcome to the dream of writing your own book, and we'll be part of your dream and make sure it is fulfilled. So, friends, with that, let me just take a few questions for today. The first question is coming from Bhavnas, and it says, for a beginner, how to read and complete a book. For a beginner, how to read and complete a book. A lot of people, they start reading books, but they lose interest. I always say it also depends on the book. A good book is the one which keeps you engaged. Like one of my favorite books is actually Sudha Murthy. So she always engages you in a simple language. So it's not only about you, it's also about the book. But you should have a determination of to do, scanning of a book, speed reading, but begin with the end in the mind, saying that, when I look at a book, I first look at how many pages it is. And okay, it has got, 200 pages. So my average is, let's say, 1 minute per page. So I have to dedicate 200 pages, 200 minutes for 200 pages. Some people can read 2 pages in 1 minute. So it all depends on you. But if you've got a target of completing a book, please do that. Sometimes you don't have to go word by word. Don't think that you have to read book as if right to give an exam. Until it is a textbook, that's a different story. But speed reading can help you. Scanning can help you. There are different methods. You can go on YouTube, and there are some freely available material on your fast reading. So try and look at it. We got Nikhil Pandya. His question is best book for kids. Oh, best book for kids. There's so many. The maximum books are for kids only. For me, I would suggest read Sudha Murthy. Sudha Murthy is an amazing writer. She is a role model for me and many new authors because her books, how I taught my grandmother to read, the topic itself, 3,000 stitches. All these are about small little stories, and she writes in a simple way. So I would say, Sudha Murthy is a must. Then, of course, Ruskin Bond. Many people may not even know that Ruskin Bond actually is an Indian. The first impression that we get is it's not an Indian name. Very much an Indian, still alive, a stalwart. People in the publishing industry, they are giants. They write very simple books, simple stories. So Ruskin Bond, Sudha Murthy. Please read Amar Chitra Katha series. Tinkle, Shikari Shambhu is there. Tinkle has been revamped. Amar Chitra Katha is being revamped. These are all Indian books that I'm suggesting. At the same time, there are fantastic children books in the Western world also. They bring out comics and movies and all those things. For teenagers, there is Archie's. So, please read books, collect books, make a library if possible in your house. I know everybody's got space constraint. And I've got space constraint, but my whole house is full of books. You must have seen yesterday also the library that I have. Luckily, my children read a lot. My wife reads a lot. My parents read a lot. So, the whole family is a family of readers. And that's very, very important. Create a reading culture, especially start with children's book. That's easy to understand. And the last point which I would like to make, the question that I like to take up is Utsav. Okay, so Utsav, how to build self-confidence when you are an average guy? Okay, very interesting question. Utsav is asking that how to have self-confidence when you're an average guy. In fact, that is quite natural that, I was also an average guy. We may not have that much kind of a fanfare. We may not be very good looking. We may not have a car to show off. We may not have money to party around. But what's interesting is that average people should not consider themselves average only. There may be something unique in you. The problem of being average or not average comes from comparison. And people who always compare with others actually have low self-confidence. it's okay to have something less than others, but in life you'll see that average people do better in life, and those people start with an ego that I'm the best. Actually, life will teach them a lesson. So if an average doesn't matter, but believe in yourself, and most important, to have good friends, surround yourself with good friends, read good books. That's one of the best things to do. A lot of self-help books, of course, books of mine like Corporate Chanakya or Chanakya in You. All these are not only helping students or readers, but also able to build their confidence. So it's important, never have low confidence, never have overconfidence, never be low in confidence, never be overconfidence, have confidence in life. It's important to have faith in yourself, choose the right friend circle. That matters a lot. If you have a friend circle who always say, hey, what kind of a dress are you wearing? You are not good looking. Over a period of time, say you are, on the darker side, or you are on the fatter side, and your hair is falling. All these things makes you feel low, and you can't do much about it. Okay, it's okay. But let me tell you, the people have faith in themselves and don't become arrogant, but don't have low confidence also. So make sure that you have self-confidence. Most important, faith in God. God, nature teaches you lessons that whatever you have, you're unique. Comparison should not be done. You are not equal to others, but you are unique. God has created you for something different and something big. If you have that faith in yourself, you will always have confidence in yourself. Okay, so read books, surround yourself with good people, have good friends, and have confidence in God and faith that life will make you bigger, even if you are small today. Okay. Okay. Pragna, sorry, Utsav had a question. Now, Pragna has got an interesting question. How to know what is right and wrong? How to know what is right and wrong? In the Sanskrit literature in India, it is called as Viveka Buddhi. Viveka means the ability to discriminate what is right and wrong. So that is an ability that we can develop by practice. But when you are first time doing it, you don't know what is right and wrong. And I always been telling this, surround yourself with people who are more experienced than you. Okay. So what is right and wrong? Our parents, our teachers, they have wisdom, they have experience of life. So when you don't know what is right and wrong, consult them. Unfortunately, what happens, if you are not ready to get advice, then you will never understand what is right and wrong. A lot of people who take hasty decisions, impulsive decisions. So if the decision, please consult people. I remember today we were watching Ramayana, and Vibhishan was kicked out from Lanka by Ravana. Okay, he did not know, because Ram was coming now to pick up Sita, and Ravan was very unhappy with his own brother Vibhishan, and he discussed with some of his friends, what should I do? He's telling me to leave my own place, and they say, the only option you got is go and join Rama now. So he says, oh, that decision, right or wrong, I don't know. I know he was a devotee of Lord Ram, but he was not sure. And he said one thing, okay, let me go and check with my mother. Yes, very important. Not many people know that Rama's father was a great person, but Ravana's father was also a very great person. He was a rishi, and his mother was a great lady. Ravana's wife Mandodari was also great. So they were all great people. But this one little ego of Ravana killed it. So Vibhishan as a brother doesn't know what is right and wrong. What does he do? Even a wise person like Vibhishan goes to consult his mother, and his mother says, Ja beta ja. Because her husband, that is, Vibhishan's father, had told him that, one day you'll meet Rama, because a rishi. So then he gets the confidence and goes to Rama. So even if you are thinking you are right, verify it with an expert. Remember this formula, even if you think you are right, verify it with an expert. That's the way you will be sure about it. So how to develop right and wrong? Consult experts, experienced people. Again, we have seen this. Chanakya's word for this is called Vriddha Sanyogaha. Vriddha means experienced people, wise people. Ask them what to do, and they will guide you in what to do. Okay, friends, so we're going to wind up with a quiz. I'm getting flooded with a lot of answers. So here are the 3 questions for today. Remember, today is 11, 12, 13, 14. We just got 3 days to go. We just got 3 days to go. So keep writing to us, and we will be able to declare the winner on the last day. So today's questions are, we always have 3 questions. The first question is, what is the meaning of Anvikshiki? What is the meaning of Anvikshiki? We have told that in detail, and there is a book also, Inside Chanakya's Mind, Anvikshiki and the Art of Thinking. We have discussed that in detail. You can go back and refer to the book or the particular live that we did, both on Instagram and Facebook. So what is the meaning of Anvikshiki? Second question, who is the co-author of my book? Who is the co-author of my book? Chanakya 7 Secrets of Leadership. Who is the co-author of my book? Chanakya 7 Secrets of Leadership. All of you know it. I've told this again and again. And so if you've been carefully listening there, or you can go to Google, okay? That's the only book I have co-authored. So very simple. That's the tip I'm giving you. And the third question is that, who is the publisher of my book, Art of War? Who is the publisher of my book, Art of War? I'm sure many of you will be thinking, did we cover that book? No! This book is for tomorrow. Okay, friends? This book, who is the publisher, you have to do research now. So I've not spoken about it, but if you look at it carefully, you will get the hint of it. Okay? So zoom in your screens. The cover page is there. The cover page has got a symbol of the publisher. I'm not going to talk about it today, but this is a forward question whether you're really alert and really interested. So the third question is, who is the publisher of this book of mine? Because you remember what was today's book? Today's book was how to write a book and make it a bestseller. So you have to start working with publishers today. You have to understand how the publishing industry works. So tomorrow's book, Chanakya and the Art of War. Tell me who the publisher is. So 3 questions for all of you today. So with that, friends, we are coming to the end of the 11th book. Today's book, remember, was how to write a book and make it a bestseller. How to write a book and make it a bestseller. And we want to see all of you as published authors. I want to come for your book launch. I hope you'll invite me. Okay. So remember, I am selling you a dream that should remain with you and die not. Don't die till you publish your own book. Become a published author. All the best. This is Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai signing off.